Down by the lot near the old cafe, where the sun fries cars all night and day, there's a wild crew doing what they do. Yeah, you know them, the parking lot crew. Refugees with moves so tight, waving cars in left and right. 10 ways to say, yo, park that straight. 12 for bro, you're 20 late. Neanderthals in safety vests, snack in hand, but doing their best. One grunted loud, broke out in a jig. Turns out he just wants a parking gig. Canines bark like they run the block. Chased a drone down, beat the clock. One gave change with a tail wag spin. That dog's got tips and a toothy grin. Who you gonna call when the lot gets loud? Parking cones up and the drawing a crowd. Whistles blow and the scooters fly. It's the parking crew and the riding high. From the streets of town to the lot bazaar, they'll guard your ride like a superstar. Yeah, from Joe's streets to America, it's the funky, fearless parking lot crew. Car guard shout near the garbage bin. Who parks skill? You let them in. They blow their whistles in perfect time, like a backup band with a traffic sign. Then here comes Wyatt, the colonel boss. Duct tape boots and a look that's sauce. Rides a scooter with flashing beams. Salutes pigeons, yells at ice cream. Men, dogs, apes from a line. No dents, no scrapes, no overtime. If they park like chaos, made a plan. Fight them twice and be the man. Who's got the beat in a vested hat? Parking legends funky like that. Guard your eye with soul and flair, and a hi-fi breeze in the summer air. From this line here to America, it's the wild, proud parking lot crew.
Hey folks, welcome back. It's been a month since we've done this, since I headed off to the United Kingdom for the Women's Rugby World Cup, which now has a final between England and Canada, which is kind of what I predicted at the outset of that tournament, having watched both teams. England number 1 in the world, Canada number 2, and Canada, I wasn't convinced of that until I saw them play, and they were in fine form against Fiji, and from there on I predicted they would go all the way. I think they can beat England, but they have to be on their best game, and they have to have a good start. So we'll see. That's next week. All right, welcome back to the Refugee Kaffee Klatsch. I don't drink coffee, but I do have myself a little coffee-like drink here, so welcome. Yes, a Northern Transvaal historic jersey from decades ago. Yep. All right, cool beans. Let's see who's in the chat. I'll see if I can answer questions. If you've got refugee questions, I'll try to answer them as best I can here in this chat. Thank you for tuning in. 360 people currently here. Karen Jones, Tony Pretorius, Karen Lieb, Erica Vandenberg, Mad Max, Paul, Mariki Bezuidenhout, Marie Michelle Heath, Sylvia Osthuizen, to me. Barry, lots of people are still waiting to be contacted. I don't see any comment from my name, Barry. Okay, hang on. That's top chat. That's why. Not all the chats there. Now we got it good, okay? Andre Nell, Leon Watley, Geo 1984. Okay, Kyle Nadia, welcome to you. Udio Prinsloo, Christopher Arda, Lynette, Fabian. Okay, I don't see anything from any Sam person. So what did Sam ask? Sam, if you asked a question, please ask it again because it's not showing up in my chat. Good evening. About 3 weeks ago, Mayor Connor's contacted and said, requested my wife be made the main applicant. I'm praying assembly. Okay. That's probably because she has a stronger case, or you're not a racial minority. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. There's reasons for that. Okay, there's reasons for that. JJ Rasmus gave a 70 Rand super chat. The clouds are gathering on the evening eclipsing on South Africa's history. GFP, welcome to you. Thank you for the super chat. Diane Humphrey, hello to you. Right, Jory Osthuizen, I can't wait for the call. Okay. Literally waiting 1 month. Maddie is, I don't know what Sam Reed asked for, but Sam, so it depends. Some people, they get called a week later. Some people get called 2 months later. There's no method to the madness. There's no rationale behind it. People were making all kinds of assumptions. Well, it's because some people have this, some that, but there's no evidence of any of that. I can show you anecdotal evidence of every sort of case possible. I can show you people who didn't put in a statement of interest until August, and they're already in America. Go figure. People put in an email and a statement of interest on May 12th, nothing. People who put an email in, never put a statement of interest in, they've been called. You know, the first 100 that went over or interviewed, there's all kinds of stuff to it. People with military history, people with no military history gone over. So people keep trying to act like they have the answers to this. They don't, and I don't pretend to. I can just tell you what the law says, what my analysis of what's going on, and as it turns out, I'm a pretty good analyst. I mean, you want to call me Senior von Wyatt, you can do that. That works for me because I can get it right. Correct me if I'm wrong, our country will only allow us to leave 20,000 Rand cash for each adult. No, Angelique, I don't know what the export limit is. I apologize for that. I do know that the 25,000 Rand is what you can bring into the country. I don't know what you can leave with. It may be the same thing. I've never looked at it, never worried about it, because when I come to South Africa, I spend all my money, so I never leave with the same amount I came with. So I've never had to worry about. I don't know, but that's cash in hand, Angelique. There are many ways to transfer your money through PayPal, through Wise, through many other options, international bank accounts. There are lots of things. And that's a project that I was going to work on, but the time has gotten away from me. I have information for it, and I'll try to get back to it. If I was born in South Africa and mom spoke English, dad Afrikaans, am I an Afrikaner? It doesn't matter if you're an Afrikaner, Rebecca. The program is not for Afrikaners. Why are you asking? Just for a general question? Yeah, you can consider yourself Afrikaner culture if you speak Afrikaans, but it doesn't matter. The program is not for Afrikaners. Let me make this clear. The program is not for Afrikaners. Despite the lies in the media, the racist bigotry spread by hate mongers all over the planet, the program is not. I repeat, Reuters, the only network that tends to get things mostly right. I repeat, for all of them, including Reuters, the program is not for Afrikaners or for farmers. The program is for racial minorities suffering from past racial persecution in South Africa and legitimate fear of future persecution. And I can attest, there are Indians who've come over already, and there are coloreds. There were coloreds on the first boatload, so to speak, and Indians came last month. So it is not for Afrikaners. There are English-speaking white South Africans who've come over as well. We had no contact, nothing date, so happy for, well, Helen, I'm sorry to hear that. I know this has been asked, but for the life of me, I can't remember it. Can we request an Afrikaans translated? No, you can't request anything because you don't set the interview up. You can ask them, but I mean, there's if they need someone from Afrikaans or they're having difficulty understanding you, they'll find someone. We have people in the embassy who speak Afrikaans who aren't South African. Okay, it's not just South Africans. Okay. Oh, it's a polo, not a jersey. Yeah, it's a polo. It's pretty cool though. Got my first call on July 28th from RSC, articulated fear of future purchase. 7 weeks after that, received WhatsApp from RSC. Okay, there you go. 7 weeks later. So JC had to wait 2 months. 2 months. Sorry, Umandel, thank you for the 14 Rand super chat. 2 months. See, so, and I can tell you, last week while I was on the end of my trip in England, I got several messages from people freaking out. Oh, Colonel Wyatt, and the same day, 4 different people, not the same day, but when I got the email, on the same day the email was sent, within 8 hours, 4 different people. Oh, I got called. My appointments are scheduled. I'm going in for the interview. And they're like, oh, these people, RSC, they're slow rolling. They're like, they hate us. They hate white people. Oh, they're holding back my case. Only to get an updated email without me even having a chance to respond to people. Oh, Colonel, just an update. They called me today. I've got an interview. Now, I'm not, you notice I didn't give any names. I'm not picking on anybody that happened to. All right? Okay? I'm just telling you what I'm dealing with here, okay? Corney Luck, welcome to you. Okay? Chat's way behind here. Let me catch up. Okay. Haley Senecal, welcome to you. James Walkinshaw. Checkers launched the Starbucks Frappuccino bottles for $54 each. 54. That's $3 for one of these. It's crazy. I get them for about $1.18. I'm at my S as daughter house. I know what it means. Blood test tomorrow. Okay. Elise Dickens, hi refugees and Colonel Chris. It's cold and overcast in Cape Town. Okay. Melkbostrand. Okay. JJ Rasmus, 70 Rand. Super chats. Clouds are gathering. Peril Vit, boy, I missed her. Darlene Stain, welcome to you. Kathy Price is here. Hey, Kathy. Truth Seekers, Just Ainter, Nikki Bota, Henry Fouché, Elmarie Swart, Anna-Marie Fourie, welcome to you. Just sent you 2 WhatsApp to relevant refugee topics. Did you? Okay. You sure did. Okay. Okay. Okay, so you're asking me to address rumors that the main candidate should be a male. I've never said that. I don't know who spread that rumor. I've never said that. Head of household is normally who applies for this, and that isn't always a male. Santana started. Santana. Santana, the refugee that I interviewed. Okay. I will try to confirm that's her. Okay. Hettienne McCarthy, welcome to you. Annette Appel, Gemini, waiting patiently. Okay. 1 week ago, received our email. Now waiting for the calls, but waiting patiently. Well, Vanessa, if you have the luck that JC had earlier, 7 weeks could be a while. So maybe sooner if you're lucky. What jersey goes way back? Not supposed to used to wear a jersey like that. Well, it's a polo, folks, but it's in the style of a jersey, so it's a polo. See, pretty cool. These are historic from the Ellis collection. It's just some company named after William Webb Ellis that's selling these historic jerseys. This one is outrageously expensive. I think this polo costs like $75. I paid $20 for it. It was on sale, $25. We've been through the whole process and got our confirmation mail saying we'll be flying for 2 to 4 weeks. Does that mean anything required from us on this side is done? Kyle Nadir, yes, that would be the case. Unless something crops up, and that's not impossible. They might come back to you and say, hey, we need clarification of this or something like that. But if you've been told all that and you've been told you'll fly in 2 to 4 weeks, then you should be done everything. Keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble. Deal with your stuff, get it on, sort it out, whatever you're going to do with your things and your pets if you got them and your livestock if you got that, and move on. There you go. Got email, waiting RC call, got my entire family linked. Americaners are very fast. You realize that we're only talking about a handful of people. And they are also processing the files of people who've been very disrespectful and rude to them, who disparage them on Facebook and WhatsApp and LinkedIn and Telegram. There are a number of people, and I know who you are, and I've seen screenshots of the stuff you said about the Amerikaners. I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you, and I know your case, and I know you're being processed, even despite the fact that you were reprehensible in your abuse of the Amerikaners based on nothing but your fictitious fantasies of victimhood. And you know who I'm talking to. There are several of you out there who've done that. And each of these cases, the Amerikaners are processing your case. And in each of those cases, these people wasted my time contacting me and telling me that, hey, the Amerikaners, they're just, this, that, and the other, and who are they, and whatever, only for me to ask questions and find out and see screenshots of the sort of things that you've done to try to undermine them, lying about them, claiming they weren't this, they weren't that, when in fact they are all the things they claim to be, to my knowledge. I'm not getting involved in that fight. I'm just telling you that your cases are being processed just the same, even though you treated them like shit. All right? So that's not an excuse to treat people poorly, just letting you know. It's had no impact. From what I can see from my perspective, which is not 100% vision, I'm not working for the U.S. government, so I don't have oversight. But from the outside looking in, it appears that they are processing people very fast. But they're not alone. RSC is also processing people very fast. But the RSC has a much bigger pile of cases handed to them than the Amerikaners has. And the fact that you're not finding out about people that are being processed because there are no groups for RSC. See, that's another thing that there's a long pole in the tent here. A lot of people are like, oh, Amerikaners, RSC. They're shitting all over RSC and they're shitting on Amerikaners or they're praising them. But the reality is you've got lots of these WhatsApp groups, but you don't have any WhatsApp groups talking about the thousands of people that have been processed by RSC. Not defending them either. Just stating a lot of people don't have the facts and they're running off of the mouth and disparaging the program. And frankly, you don't deserve to be in the program. You really don't deserve to be in a program. If that's your attitude towards a gift, the generous gift and the free ride, when people are sitting in Kenya for 30 years waiting to get out of there, if that's your attitude, you really don't deserve to be here. We don't need you in America. We got enough pissy, whiny bitches coming to this country. We don't need people behaving like that. So if that hurts your feelings, then fine. I'm tired of coddling refugee aspirants and, and patting them on the back. You can be rude to me, you can be disrespectful to me, and I'm still going to love you. No, you're going to be rude and disrespectful, foot sec. Anyway, hurt people's feelings? I don't care. I don't care. I've taken so much bullshit abuse and given out hundreds of thousands of dollars of free consulting advice to help people in need, only to be treated like crap by some ingrates, whatever. And Henry's been waiting since the 12th of May, no response. Sorry to hear that. All I know is it's done very strangely. Retha, I agree. That's because it's haphazard. That's because it's an ad hoc process that they developed, and they developed poorly. And also because, as I said, I suspect, my analysis is that a political appointee's job is on the line because it didn't show sufficient progress before 30 September. So they're scrambling. 30 September is 9 days away. How much you want to bet that sometime after that they're going to announce how many people come over? Unless it's a low number, then they're not going to tell us. Connected late. Sorry to hear about that, Daniel, with YouTube. Hey, Geo1984, Chris just want to ask if you get an email first, phone call. Okay, that question's been asked 1,000 times. You normally get an email first. There's no guarantee of that. You might be called out of the blue. It depends how much pressure the people are under. You know, we need these 50 files done today. Can't wait for emails, so you start making phone calls. There's no rhyme or reason, okay? It's not a process, guys. Everyone's trying to game the system. Well, if I get the call, I get the email, then I get the... No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Ask them when they call you, when you send an email and respond, ask them, okay? If you have an opportunity to do that, all right? If you assume you're going to make an ass of me... Thank you, James. Okay. Good evening, Bonnie Duplessis. Welcome to you. Hendo's here. I didn't see Hendo earlier. Maybe it was there. I missed him. Derek Grunig sent email before statement was out. Okay. Did you do a statement of interest as well, Derek? Some people say you don't have to do a statement of interest. I always encourage people to do a statement of interest if you haven't done one. What will be the pre-requirements for applying for a child or adult with disabilities? Any documentation required? I do not know the status of that, Krista. I don't know there are any requirements other than you've got custodian guardianship of that person. If you have guardianship of an adult, that's the only paperwork you're going to need, to my knowledge. I'm not an expert on that, Krista. I mean, the key thing is I do know that normally adults won't be processed with you because they're not your children. We have seen instances of 18, 19, or 19, 20, 21-year-olds being processed with a family. We have seen that. But in each cases I'm familiar with, I think it's because they also had a valid case and they also submitted a case, like I said, and they just said, we're going to put you all together. I don't think I've seen, there may be a case, so I stand on correction here. I haven't seen someone contact me that I can recall that says, I applied as head of household for myself and my 6 children. My children are 30, 28, 27, 25. No. I haven't seen a single case of that being approved. I have seen cases of people, I've applied for myself and my adult children, all of whom also put a statement of interest in. We're moving together. And that's because they combine them because they have multiple statements of interest and they all met the requirements. But normally, if you don't submit a statement of interest as a legal adult, age 21, normally 18, then you're not going to go. But they have been combining those, if that makes sense. As far as an adult with diminished capacity, I don't know the requirements, but I suspect all you need is proof of guardianship. If a court is, or maybe a court hasn't done it, but obviously if you have a diminished capacity adult who you're caring for, that's your natural child, then I don't know there should be an issue there. But again, I'm not an expert. You'll find out when they call you. You ask them the questions. They'll tell you what you need. Okay, Krista, sorry about that. Okay. Folks, I don't think most people realize the burden that you're bringing to America. Many of you. Now, I'm not disrespecting anybody here, but this is not directed at Krista. It just came up. I was going to talk about this before I make a video about it, but I figured I'd get a lot of hate for it. So many of you are coming over are broken in so many ways, and all we hear from people for months is, "We just want to contribute. We are great." The Afrikaner people, and it's not just for Afrikaners, by the way. We will make all the difference. We'll be glad to contribute, and that's all true, and I don't doubt that for a heartbeat. But so many of you are broken. Almost all of you have post-traumatic stress disorder and don't even realize it. We've already had a family come over, and a family member was diagnosed with cancer. Now we, the taxpayer, are paying for that person's care, and hopefully save their life. But that's a burden dumped on us that should have been a South African burden. And I'm not making moral judgment. I'm just saying that we've also got people coming here physically incapable of doing things. People who are retired and we're picking up their pension requirements and the Medicaid. That's all on us. And then I have to sit here and take abuse from people in messages and on chats, and it's astounding to me. It's absolutely astounding. The generosity of the American people is manifest, and I think a lot of people are just greedy. Not here, but a lot of greedy people just want a free immigration program. They don't give a crap about the people that are paying the burden for their free ride. A little respect and a little bit of appreciation is in order. So. Anyway, Rhonda Absalon, just concerned, is there any update if a person interviews will be conducted in Cape Town? I don't have confirmation. I have it on good authority that plans change. The plan was to begin conducting interviews in Cape Town after the 1st of October. On good authority. I'm not making a statement unequivocal here because I'm not in charge of the program, but I have sources that have indicated, more than one source indicated that was the plan. Okay? All right? In the meantime, people are still paying to fly up to Pretoria and do it, so. This will be week 4 after the first interview, waiting patiently. That's a long time, Amanda. Hopefully you'll hear from somebody soon. No news and pet list after my conversation with Morgan. I haven't done anything. Maybe we'll get Morgan back on for an interview. Maybe when I'm in Wyoming on the same time frame as her. I don't know. It'll be a little hard because I'm hard pressed. I'm doing a lot of travel out there in the mountain states, so I'm not going to have a lot of time to do things like interviews, but I'll try. Yeah, so we'll see. Someone else wanted me to interview them. I asked if I could do it on Sunday or Monday. I have to look and see if they respond to me. GPO did something. It doesn't make any difference. My father-in-law is a permanent resident in South Africa. Will he be able to with me and my wife? Will he be able to go with you? Your father-in-law is not your family, Dragon. Your father, what do you mean he's a permanent resident? That doesn't help me out at all. See, this is not helpful. Dragon, you got to tell me, permanent resident of what? Is he a Polish national? Is he a Russian? Is he Argentinian? He's a permanent resident from where? No, he's not. He's a permanent resident in South Africa. But what nationality is he? That's what's going to play. If he has permanent residency in South Africa, then people are going to say that you can go home to wherever home is. I need more information in order to answer your question. Some stole money out of my PayPal. Don't trust them. How did that happen, Sandra? Okay, Valerie from Vike, welcome to you. Colonel, I think it is about the time you said you can go. Lawrence, I don't know what you're talking about. What did I miss? Did I fall behind? $1 million allowed per adult per year. Okay, that's transferring money. That's not cash. I think the question, expat family Joubert, was cash. It wasn't stated, but it was implied. How much money can you take out of the country with you? It was implied cash, and that's what I answered. But you're right. It's $1 million per year. I think that's always talking about cash. I don't know if there's restriction. Thank you for your information, time, and effort. I do appreciate it. Oh, I know you do. Thank you so much for the 70 Rand. Appreciate that. And Sumari loves a jersey. Cool. Maybe just our case is weird, but it's very stressful. Yeah, Retha, your case is a little strange, and you're doing a little freaking out, and I understand. I appreciate why. All I can do is urge calm. But yeah, your case is a little. Look, I've heard all kinds of really weird situations and cases from people contacting. Human Nell, thank you for 14 Rand again. Whoops, it jumped on me. Hang on. I'm missing some questions, folks, so I apologize. The chat goes very fast here, and I'm doing my best, okay? We got an email from Amerikaners. We're waiting patiently for a call, says Angelique. Philip says we got a call from RC and did our online interview. Now we wait. We didn't get a case number, and also there's no login password. You won't get a case number until you're assigned one. You won't get a case number assigned to you from a screening from RSC. That's unusual for me. I mean, I'm not sure. You would get recontacted by them after it's been reviewed by the U.S. government. That would what I would expect. If you're going to come back and tell me you got a case number from RSC, if somebody's going to tell me that, then okay. But that's not the way it should work. The way it should work is that they'll screen you. You don't have a case yet. Your information gets forwarded to an American. An American reviews it and makes a decision whether they're going to get a case. Then you get a case number. Then RSC contacts you again. That's the way it should be. All right, but the system is so jerry-rigged here, it's hard to say, okay? Peter says, I feel bad for what people done to you in the Amerikaners. Yeah, well, it's some people, look. I just followed your vision advice and things are in motion. Thank you, sir. Welcome to Red. Yep. And Blonde Topaz has been waiting since the 12th. Footsuck indeed. Super irritating listening to these fools. We're all waiting. People need to chill. If they don't like it, then Murray. I'm trying to understand your comment. Okay. 17 weeks, but that's a long time, Kathleen. That is patient. Okay. I too have set my statement on the 12th. No response. Okay. Ron Meineke says, what a crap shirt. Western Province. Yeah, you lucky ding. I love Western Province, but they didn't offer a Western Province historical rugby polo for just $20 on sale. They didn't offer one. Also picked this up on sale. So up there on the shelf, I've got my 2019 rugby balls. I got my limited edition, only 500 in the world, made by Gilbert. That's the one on the left and the one on the right. So now I've got my 2023 Rugby World Cup champions won the match as well. All the games on here. So Pool B, 18-3 over Scotland, 76-0 over Romania, lost Ireland 13-8, and beat Tonga 49-18. I was at every one of those games. And then I was home for the quarterfinal where they beat France 29-28. They beat England 16-15, and they beat New Zealand 12-11. That was the most satisfying part about the last game. They beat New Zealand in a World Cup final, because people would always say that, well, Japan doesn't really count because the English beat the New Zealand and they didn't have to face New Zealand in the final. Well, it does count, and now that we beat the All Blacks in a Rugby World Cup final, all the better. So this one I got for like $10. These were $42 before. I got it for $10. See, you wait and you're patient and you get rewarded. Also, I couldn't find any fan balls. I've got a World Cup ball here somewhere, but I couldn't find any fan balls at the World Cup. They had them the first day in Sunderland. I never found them again because people bought them all out, but I did get one online for $10. So, fan ball from the World Cup. Okay, there we go. All right, cool. Contact Americaners reviewed on 18th. Background checks done. We requested more info on my husband's military history. It's nerve-wracking. Okay, Sonia? Yep. Colleen's beginning verified calls, but no connection. I can't call back. If the U.S. depth didn't leave me in VM in June, I would not know it's the... Who's U.S. depth? What is depth? I don't understand what that means. I don't know what that means. Voicemail in June. Okay. How do people keep missing phone calls unless you have no cell phone coverage? I don't understand that. Do you not keep your phones near you? My phone is always within arm reach, unless I'm playing sports, which I can't do anymore because of the hip. Even when I'm walking, exercising, it's always within arm reach. I mean, everything's on here. Everything. I don't understand how people miss phone calls unless you don't have a signal. I get that. Conrad says, that's beautiful jersey. That's real class and quality. Thank you. I thought so. It is very good quality jersey. Helen says, great for time. Well, I hope that you guys get what you're looking for. The folks are working long hours. Oh, gosh, folks. Thank you to the 501 people currently here. Bye-bye, donkey. Yeah, they are. The RSC and the Amerikaners are working incredibly long hours and hard. I don't think a lot of people appreciate this, and I've gotten several emails from people who've told their stories to RSC agents, and I've more than one occasion I've been told about how the Kenyans have broke down and cried. They've had tears, and then it's been difficult for them to hear the stories of those who've related what's happened to them. People are dumping all over RC, making Telegram groups and WhatsApp groups saying that they're ignoring people, that they're racist, that they're laughing at people. I have never gotten an email from anybody telling me that an RC agent has laughed at anybody. And I find it shocking that it would be true. It may be true, but I have no evidence of it other than people claiming it. And people claiming things, people claim all kinds of things. It doesn't make it true. Thank you, Werner, for the 70 Rand. Got your fingerprints sent. Fantastic. You're very welcome, Werner. See? Be patient, brother. It's not easy. I know you had to do a workaround there. Cool. Okay. Yeah, so that's another thing, too. If you run into a stumbling block, like you can't get something done that you've been asked to do, don't panic and give up. I mean, I've had a couple people write, well, I'm done. I'm done. I'm never getting out of here. I can't get this done. Don't just do that. Look, I know a lot of people in South Africa. And the proof of the pudding is this. Even if I don't know them, people will come forward to help. When I could barely walk in South Africa, remember that? My last trip, I had 3 people in the medical field step forward, and a 4th one who was a trainer for the Stormers, who was a sports medicine guy that someone was trying to set me up with. He agreed to do it, but we just couldn't schedule because of the end of my trip. All these people stepped forward to help me in my time of need with my physical need. I've reached out to help people get information from the police because they're having difficulty in local police stations. We've gotten advice on going to different home affairs offices in different places. Don't give up and don't get salty if you're running into a wall. That's the nature of bureaucracy. Bureaucracies aren't designed to help you. They're designed to screw you. That's the purpose of bureaucracy. I know that sounds counterintuitive. It's supposed to be there to help you. But show me bureaucracy that works in your favor. They seldom do. So don't just give up and get salty. Reach out, ask a question. If we can, we'll answer it. And if you're sending me an email and I haven't answered, please be patient. I mean, I don't get to all of them. I get to as many as I can. And a number of the emails are wasting my time because people are just being hyperbolic. They're being paranoid and ridiculous. And then they don't like the responses I send them, so they get pissed off. So just be patient. I do the best I can. Remember, I'm not getting paid for this. And it's some smart ass on my video like, oh, we know you're making money on this. Yeah, you're making money on this. You're making money on YouTube. Once again, the money I make off of YouTube, even though it's gone up a bit this year, well, a lot this year, but still, it doesn't even remotely come close to what I get paid for my time. It doesn't even come remotely close. Most of the money that I make off of YouTube, I used to buy the little teddy bears now. I used to pay for taxes and a little bit of my travel expenses. Some of it reimburses my cost of the business. This year, the broadcasting element of my YouTube will probably be profitable by a small amount for the first time ever. The cost of me traveling, the cost of me producing videos, the cost of me doing all these things has been at a loss every year since I started doing this because I wasn't doing it to make money. It's nice to make money and break even, but I wasn't doing it for that reason. So thank you for the super chats and for watching the ads. Why don't y'all just chill and appreciate what's done for free? There you go, Maggie. Okay. Well, but it's not mostly the people here that you're talking it to. It's the people that aren't watching. Folks working long hours. Yeah, that's right, Edward. Okay, working weekends. Also been receiving verified calls, no answer when I answer. I have no idea what that is. And what do you mean verified calls? Verified by whom? By Truecaller? Truecaller is an app. A lot of people complain about the app. It works well for me, but I don't use it. Charlie Kirk. Oh, well, the demonic hatred left was always there. I've been exposing it for years, but now everybody can see it. What about if I applied for myself? God, that you've typed 4 words together. And my child, but divorced, will mom be able to join the interview? Why would the mother join the interview, Stars and Stripes? She's not part of the conversation. But in order for your child, if they're a minor, to go to the States, you're going to have a legal release from the birth mother. I don't know why they would be there. They wouldn't invite them to the meeting. I mean, they're not applying, so they're not germane. What about disabled toddlers, Nikki? What about them? Toddlers are your children. All you have to have is a birth certificate and a passport for them, and it's proof it's your child, and you're good to go. I managed to get my fingerprint. Okay, thank you. And you gave a super chat. We put together as a group. Okay, mine was combined with my folks. There you go. Americanos do have an update they will announce this week. I'm praying that they will include in processing applicants. Okay. Well, they really don't have the time or resources to process your flight, so I hope they're not doing that because they have enough to do just getting you in the pipe. What's with a jersey? As far as I understand it. Okay, again, Ron, Meinekes, are you not listening? Please, they make stuff to soften the wax in your ears, okay? You just put it in there, just wait a few minutes, tilt it over, flush it out, and the wax comes pouring out, and you can hear a lot better. Again, I'm a collector of rugby jerseys and rugby memorabilia. This is a classic Northern Transvaal jersey that costs $70. I'm also a bargain hunter. It was on sale for $20. While I was in UK, I ordered it and had it delivered. Case closed. When you can get me a classic 1937 Stormers jersey, doesn't exist. You can get me a classic 1937 Western Province jersey for $20 that fits me, I'm on board. As far as I understand, if you're 21 and the head of the family is the main applicant. If you're older, you must... Exactly. Well, Daniel, normally it's 18. They've been making exceptions. I'm not sure why. Cornet says, I received a call after my first interview last Friday. After my screening call, the 22nd of July, my interview is next week. There you go. 22 July, August, September. We're already into 2 months later. Sometimes so embarrassed about people's behavior. Sorry. Linda Funda Nest. I'm embarrassed by it too. It's unbelievable. Also sent a statement, Americanus heard nothing, but when my husband sent one, he received an email. I think it's different. Okay. Sandy, is it possible that someone will be declined refugee status No, you can't be declined for disability, not to my knowledge. You can't be declined for cancer. The only reason you'll be declined, to my knowledge, and under the law, would be for a person who's committed crimes that we will not accept a person for: murder, probably rape, pedophilia. And if you commit a war crime, a crime against humanity, you're not going to come over. The only other reason you wouldn't come over is you have a communicable disease. If you have active tuberculosis, you're not coming anywhere. We are not bringing people with active tuberculosis in the country. If you have latent tuberculosis, in other words, you've been exposed to it, it's in your system, but you're not sick, you'll be able to come over. If you have cancer, that doesn't stop you from coming over. If you have There's no COVID nonsense. So that's the only things I'm aware of that would prevent you. But disability, no. Once again, we foot the bill. The kindest of the Americans. When submitting the application, do you have to select all the boxes? There's one I didn't select. I don't, okay. Minry Lambrecht, that is not helpful to me. What boxes? The statement of interest form, you assume I've read it. Well, you'd be right, I have read it. And by the way, that statement of interest is an ad hoc thing. It doesn't exist for other refugee programs. It's for the South Africa program exclusively. I have read it, and there are multiple boxes. I don't know what boxes you're talking about. You're talking about the ones where, okay, are you trying to game the system? Are you thinking that because you haven't been a victim of past or current or future and you didn't check one of those blocks that you're not going to be able to go? No. But you're going to have to be more specific. Get your passports and paperwork up to date. Okay, all you guys are talking about calls that drop. Well, the calls are coming from South African numbers. Is this a normal thing for you? Do you have calls that always drop? Because I don't have those problems. When I'm in South Africa, people call me, the calls don't drop. So I don't know why people are having problems with calls dropping. They're not coming from the American Embassy then. I don't know who's messing with you, but they're not coming from the American Embassy. They're not. So you're making it. I know what's going on here. You're assuming in your head you're getting a call from Kenya or America. You're not. The calls are being routed through U.S. Embassy switchboard. Now, they're making a call from Kenya, and the connection from Kenya to South Africa could be lost. That's a possibility. So that's a fair statement. But you're not being called directly from Kenya. Get your passports, paperwork update. What happened? Believe you. Thank you, Colonel, for your dedication. You're welcome, Andre Nell. See, these are people speaking from experience. They know. I did put soil as soon as you announced it. Soil. Statement of interest. Thank you, Derek. Anybody else get zero contacts since 12? Lots of people got no contacts since 12th of May. Okay, I don't think you... Okay. I'm going to be calm here because nobody's being angry. I'm just going to be calm. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, there are over 100,000 statements of interest. Do you honestly think that anybody with a team of 6 or 8 or 10 people is going to go through 100,000 statements of interest since May 12th? Thank you, Paul Hughes, for your subscription. Honestly, there's a reason it takes time. If only 3,000 of you applied, you'd be done by now. Or put a statement of interest in. Is the MIE from the background check? They have no fingerprinting needed for this form, only fingerprinting done by you. Okay, Annette, I don't know. What is MIE? Meals and incidentals is what MIE is to me. I don't know what MIE. I don't know what MIE is. There's no fingerprinting needed. I don't know what form. The fingerprint cards are what are used for fingerprints. Sent a mail in February, complete state of interest, still no call, email. Oh, Karen, okay. Oh, hang in there. Talitha, we have done medicals 3 weeks ago. Does that mean that we are approved? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You'll hear back when your decision. You'll hear back. Again, see, I don't think people appreciate what's involved here. One refugee application takes dozens of hours at a minimum to do. You filled out a statement of interest. Someone has to receive that statement of interest. They have to look at it. Then they have to send an email or make a phone call, verify you are, do screening. That takes time. Once you're screened, your case gets handed off to USCIS or PRM, whoever's responsible for it. They've got a stack of these things. They're going through, and they're also dealing with all the lawsuits that are coming from the people who didn't come over earlier when Trump suspended the program, and processing people from places like Afghanistan who are coming over now, who are already approved. That takes time. PRM alone lost 89 employees in July. The State Department has lost 3,000 employees since January that I'm aware of, maybe more now. So there are issues on manpower, and it takes time to process these things. Then you've got to get an interview with the U.S. person. You get an interview with the U.S. person. You get assigned a case number. And then you have to get scheduled for medicals. Somebody has to call, and they have to have availability. I mean, the doctors don't sit around and wait. Okay, you know what? I'm going to clear my schedule for the next 6 months. I'll only take refugees. Call me when you got somebody. It doesn't work that way. The place that does it, they do other things. So you have to have an appointment. So if they can't get you a medical appointment for 3 weeks, then it's 3 weeks before you get you a medical appointment. Then they have to do background checks. That can take anywhere from days to weeks to months, depending on your background. My background takes a long time to investigate. I'm not 25 anymore, and I've been all over the world. I mean, I get asked this question by counterintelligence. Have you ever had contact with a foreign intelligence agent? Well, yeah. Well, and I get these young polygraphers and young agents. What do you mean? Who did you talk to? All of them. What do you mean? Well, you sent me to these countries and told me to liaison with foreign intelligence services. You want me to detail every meeting I've had for the past 30 years? That's impossible. It's all a matter of record. Look it up. It takes longer to do mine. Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that? Yeah, I have. What? Okay, more questions. These things take time. And then after that, there's a whole process. Then someone has to schedule flights. There aren't dedicated planes for this. They have to find seats on commercial flights out of South Africa to the U.S. And frankly, you're all very lucky. To my knowledge, we're paying for your flights. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to pay for your flights. Whether you got money or not, you're supposed to pay for your flights. If you don't have money, you get a loan from the International Organization of Migration. But it looks like the U.S. government is footing the bill for all of you coming over. It takes time. I'm just trying to explain what's going on, folks. Okay. Andre says, thank you. You're very welcome. We got an email, says Monica, and call the 20th August, received background forms yesterday, and they asked about my husband's military history. Yep. Yeah, they're asking a lot about military history now. Why are you all so old? Why aren't young people asking to get out of the country? Why are all these old people leaving? Do you think the program will work faster? I have no indication it will work faster or slower, Pearl. I can tell you that it's worked much faster in the past month. We know that 2,500, 3,000 people processed over a 2-week period in Pretoria alone just a few weeks ago. They're combining our case with my daughter's who's 21, autistic. That's why, because she's autistic. She needed to apply separately, too, because she's over 20. Exactly. Thank you, Lynette. That answers my question. See, but someone probably helped her. I don't know if she could do it on her own as an autistic. Strutcat, 70 Rand. I'll get to that in a second. Thank you for the super chat. Clouds are gathering. Yes, Lynette, thank you for that clarification. She's 21, so she's an adult, but she doesn't have full capacity. So she applied as an adult. You probably helped her, no doubt. And they combined the case with you as head of household. That's how it should be done. And that's what I explained all along from the beginning. That's what I told people to do. And people who follow my advice, it's working out. Yeah, and Anthony is saying only check the ones applicable. See, folks, you want to check the correct blocks on the form, the statement of interest, because if you check something that's not true and you get asked about it, that might piss them off. Okay. And Joan Devanaga agrees with something I said some time ago. Site Afrikaner says she's asking for help for the nearly 1 million Rand for her cervical cancer treatment. I don't know who we're talking about there, Site Afrikaner. 1 million Rand. I would contact Mayor Connors now. Why would I contact them? Okay. Oh, okay. No contact since March. So Esther Ells, you never put a statement of interest in May. That was a mistake. If you haven't done a statement of interest, I would go do a statement of interest. Didn't select this box. Past persecution based on membership in a particular social group. Should I have selected this? Have you been persecuted because you're white, because you're an Afrikaner, because you're an English speaker, because you're colored, because you're Indian in the past? If that's the case, Mimi, then you should have checked it. If you haven't been persecuted, then it's fine. Membership of a particular social group. It should say more than social group. I think it says ethnic group or social group. We're not talking about being a member of the AWB. We're talking about being white or colored or a Muslim or a Jew or something like that. James, it's always astonishing for me how ungrateful people. It's not astonishing for me. I've seen it everywhere, up close and personal. Maz, totally agree with you, Colonel. I'm probably going to be able to transfer the clinical trial. I am in, or I'll stay here. Yeah, Maz, I know you. I don't know. Are you able to? Have you got an update on when you can transfer the clinical trial? Rhonda says thank you. You're very welcome, Rhonda. Sandy, Colonel, we love you, but not the shirt you're wearing. Be possible for me to, as a refugee, once in America, to look for work home security. Yeah, but you won't get any job that requires a clearance. I mean, you can do a job, administrative or clerical, something like that. Absolutely. This isn't the UK. We don't hire South Asians to be our immigration authorities who aren't nationals. It doesn't work that way. Yeah. Once you become an American, you can apply for a security clearance. Any job has it. But in the meantime, you can't do a job that requires security clearance. Only Americans are granted security clearances. Beyond Mainstream says Cape Town would be great. Well, it would be. A lot of people would pay a lot of money to fly. Pretoria probably going to be angry. I have a shark shirt. I mean, how do you guys not know this? You must be new to the program. I have a Griquas shirt. I have a Puma shirt, Lion shirt, Stormer shirts, Bull shirts, Cheetah shirts, Shark shirts, Springbok shirts, Springbok 7 shirts, USA, Chile, Romania, Ireland, even England jersey. Yeah, Japan, Blurry Blossom. I have them all, man. Called up for conscription after Will this excursion influence my chances? Hannes, again, people are not watching my videos. Professor G made a video which freaked people out. I made an explanatory video explaining that military service should not be a bar. If you've committed a crime, that's a problem. If you didn't commit a crime, you shouldn't have a problem. But they do need to know if you've been in the military so they can investigate that. All right? Should not be a problem. Chris says, thank you. We'll have to look at legal diminished capacity. I haven't applied mainly for this reason. Oh, Chris, you haven't done it yet? Oh, my goodness. You've been here for a long time. What are you waiting on? If look, I'm not encouraging you to come to America, but if that was your intent, you should put a statement of interest in. Go and do it today. It only takes a few minutes. I mean, look, that's another thing I don't understand from people. The statement of interest is not a commitment to leave South Africa. It's not a commitment to be a refugee. You are what the word says, the phrase. A statement, you're stating of interest, that you are interested in the refugee program. That's all it is. You're not committed to come to America. Now, you'll piss people off if you slow the process down, but who cares who you piss off? That's your personal decision. There will be people who go all the way through the process, medical, background checks, fingerprints, DNA, whatever they got to do. And they'll get to the point where they offer them a flight and they'll say no. One of my moderators refused to go. Now, that moderator will be leaving for the States in 2 to 4 weeks, but over a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that person was offered a flight out and they said no. For various reasons. Now they're going. So it's a statement of interest. So if you have any interest in it at all, Krista, you should submit it. Okay? Sorry, I have many mental issues and being treated, but if I leave here, it will get better. Okay, Sumari, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not sure how to address that. I'm trying not to be cheeky here. I also think they will start doing it in Durban. Minion, lots of people have claimed they're doing it in Durban, and it's not true. So we'll see. Strawcott says, first you'll receive an email, refugee number, link, you go to where. Okay. Thank you for everything you do. You're welcome, Human. Okay. Hey, Chris, any plans you may have heard of for interviews on the Free State? No, none. Does not cost no one a cent to be friendly, kind, and respect for one another. Thank you. You're welcome, Vanessa Muller. Really hope that they also do interviews in KZN. Yes, Pam, I understand that. Again, if I've told people if I ran this program how I would do it, and there would be interviews in Uppington, in Cape Town, in PE, in Durban, probably also in Pietermaritzburg, in Joburg, in Bloemfontein, in Petersburg, and in Pretoria at a minimum. That's where I would do it at, just to get started. I suspect many applicants will get contacted around November. Just a hunch. We'll see, Daniel. Okay, there's thank you for all your information, time and effort, CEO. Okay, I missed that big. There's a super chat. There it is. Struck it. There is an Americana survey they post on X. Refugees that are ready to leave immediately needs to go there and complete it. They're contacting these people now. Okay, Strawcott, thank you for the 70 Rand. I've heard about the survey. I'm not aware of people who are ready to leave now, sort of thing. So I don't know if that's upsetting the apple cart for people who said they could leave later. It wasn't the case before. You can take 25,000 Rand per person. There you go, LZ. That's what I thought it was. That's what I said I think it is. Cash, yeah, because that's what you're allowed to bring in the country. You can also bring U.S. currency in addition to that, which is weird. They like the dollars to come in. Lugovic says indoctrinating the youth. We have to pay for the flights after we get there. Kathleen, not to my knowledge. Not one refugee has told me they had to pay for their flights. That's the norm. That's the way it usually works. Normally, the way it works for refugees is you pay for your flight, or you get an interest-free loan from the International Organization of Migration, the IOM, which is a UN agency. Once you get to your country of destination, you got 6 months. After 6 months, you begin paying back the loan in installments with no interest. That's how it works. Or you pay for your ticket out of your own pocket. This has not worked that way. No one, to my knowledge, has been requested to reimburse IOM or the U.S. government. So Hansi has a refugee interview next week. Congratulations. Most young people have been brainwashed. Yeah, the situation is not normal in South Africa. Old people are struggling to adapt. Adapt to what? They're old. They should know life. What are they struggling to adapt to? No, the dollars have nothing to do with it, Fritha, and rands, or must we convert to dollars? Actual cash in hand or safe in a bank account? No, Fritha, okay, first off, if you don't have a credit card that doesn't charge foreign currency transaction fees, you're going to be eaten alive by that. Every time you buy something or spend, you're going to charge 2 or 3 or 4%. Almost all my credit cards are no foreign transaction fees, and they do interbank rate, which works out better than carrying cash. No, the export is when you leave at the airport, you can take 25,000 Rand out of the country, maximum. coming in the country, as I recall, you can bring in 25,000 Rand and you can also bring in like $10,000. I think that's something like that, which is weird, but they like the dollars to come in. As far as your money transferring overseas, you're allowed legally transfer like 1 million Rand per year or something like that. That's different than the cash. When you arrive in America, if you have $10,000 or more in cash equivalents, gold bullion in your pocket, pounds, Rand, dollar, yen, if it's more than $10,000, you must declare it. If it's 10,000 or less, you don't have to declare it. But declaring it, you're just declaring how much you bring in. I don't think they charge you taxes. Okay? Some of you must be rich. You're worried about this a lot. Lynette is helping with the application. That's what I figured. I know personally of 3 applications, none phone yet. All applied in March. Okay, well, first off, Virtual Western Cape, nobody applied in March. Stop it. They're not applications. You haven't applied for anything. You're not applying for FG status until you've been contacted and you have a case number. Then you have an application. Prior to then, you just stated an interest. That's all you've done. In March, if you applied in March, you didn't apply in March, you sent an email to now a defunct email account that is not addressing anybody. If those people in March have not sent a statement of interest in, which I have been saying since May 12th, June, July, August, for over 4 months, I've been advising people who sent in a PRM email to send a statement of interest. If you haven't done that, you haven't been listening to me, and if you never get responded to, then you've made your own bed and you have to lie in it. It's not hard to do. I don't know why people don't do it. I got people sending 5 and 6 statements of interest in, and they shouldn't be doing that. I've told them not to do it. But if you've never sent one in, you should send one in, even if you did an email. I've told people that since May 12th, sitting in the airport at Wimpy at OR Tambo. The older people want to leave more than the younger people because older people are soft targets and get attacked most of the time. No, I get that, Conrad. Tortoise says, lots of young people at the interviews, Colonel, especially those with toddlers and babies. Well, that's interesting because none of them have the courtesy to contact me. Super grateful and appreciative for the opportunity to go to the USA and thankful. Thank you. You're welcome, Angelique. Yolande Cilliers, welcome to you. Guess who's waiting for flight deal? There you go. So there's another person. Yep. No idea why the younger generation is not leaving. Well, apparently they are, Sue Marie. Can we convert our rands at foreign exchange airport? No. Never convert your money in an airport. The only ripoff bigger than this is prostitution. Airport currency conversion is a ripoff. They take a horrible exchange rate. They make a ton of money off that, and then they charge you a fee. And if they don't charge you a fee, they take even more from the exchange rate. Never convert your money in an airport. Never. Nope. You're better off selling your money to a bank in America when you come over here. But that's not so easy to do. In other countries it is, but the U.S. people aren't accustomed to foreign currency. No, my recommendation is to convert to dollars before you leave. If you're going to you're going to bring cash. If you've got to bring rands, I would convert it to dollars before I leave. That's what I would do. You can convert Kyle Nadir at an airport, but you're going to lose a lot of money, man. It's kind of like me. I used to get screwed. So let me tell you the story. So when I was stationed in Botswana, I would go to South Africa a lot. I had a V8. Not the drink, but the motor in my engine. And it drank a lot of fuel. Got good mileage, but I drove a lot. So at the time, South Africa in 2008, 2010 timeframe refused credit cards at petrol stations. You weren't allowed to use credit cards. The banks had a scam going, screwing people, especially foreigners. You couldn't use credit cards to pay for petrol. So you could use a debit card, but I didn't have a debit card in South Africa. So what did I have to do? I went to... Who's the damn, oh gosh, bless it, a South African company that owns car dealerships and finances and all that stuff. I can't think of the name right now. Anyway, I went to their office in Gaborone and I bought a card, paid for it. And then I took my dollars I was paid at the embassy, converted them to Pula at the embassy, went from the embassy over to those guys and took the Pula, converted it to Rand. So I've already lost 25% of my money. And then when I went to South Africa, I would buy my petrol on the card with the money that's on the card. What a ripoff. What a ripoff. Can't you put a scrolling banner screen with the most common questions? I mean, that's insane. Why should I waste hours of my time coming up with a scrolling banner? It's retarded. That's a waste of my time. People don't read that crap. And it doesn't work very well. A lot of young people have already gone. Well, I don't know who they are. They haven't contacted me, Don. Glad to see you're at home safely. I'm 30, but many young minorities have left South Africa. Okay. Yeah, and Candida is telling exactly what I said. Bad idea at the airport. Wonder what chance it will sing if all the minority groups have left. Who knows? Hey there, Chris. Can you please tell me more about how you could contact you? Well, Ross Van Eden, you can send me an email to the account, and hopefully I can get to it. Or if you're in one of the WhatsApp groups, you can send me an email that way. Best bet's email, though. It's at allaboutafrica2021@gmail.com. allaboutafrica2021@gmail.com. It's on the website. Just look for it, but there you go. Managed integrity evaluation. See, Catherine, I'd never heard of such a thing. Which fingerprints all over South Africa, which this is where the embassy book. Oh, it's a company. Thank you. It's a company. Okay, I don't know that. Okay, thank you for explaining, Catherine. So you guys can't assume. Bullshit. Francois attacking the shirt. You know, I've never seen so much hate for the Bulls in my life. Honestly, when the Bulls are playing and I'm not rooting for the Bulls, I get chewed out all the time for why aren't you a Bulls fan? Why are you a Province fan? Why are you a Stormers fan? Unbelievable. And I wear a Bulls jersey, and that's all people are hyper-focused on today. It's funny. Contact me within 3 days of filling out the survey. My entire family is now connected as a unit. We are waiting for our calls. Look at Stratcott. See? Like I said, I've told you guys, I have cases of people 3 days after they submit it, people 3 months after they submit it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. When asked when I could leave, I said tomorrow if I had a passport. The person said I was in a much better position than most. I just stated, I don't know why they said you're in a much better position, Charles, if you don't have a passport, because you can't go anywhere. Do you foresee the interview location being expanded? Yes, on the Brant. We've already covered this. You must have tuned in late. I have on good authority that supposedly after October 1st, Cape Town will be added, but I don't know about anywhere else. Okay, if unable to transfer a clinical trial, I'll need to wait it out. Okay, all right, Maze. How do I contact you? Well, I just said that, Ross. Okay. Maddie, Colonel, do you perhaps know if they'll... No, not to my knowledge, and I don't think there's any plans to do it in the Free State. Several families apply. Keep in mind, the younger you are, the more qualified you are, the more options. Nope. Age doesn't qualify you for refugee status. This is not immigration. It's not immigration. It's not immigration. Y'all get that crap out of your head. Get that crap out of your head. See, that's part of the problem here. We have people immigration shopping. It's not immigration. You're not welcome here as an immigrant. Ask the people who try to come here. It's not easy. It's not easy. Unless you're incredibly wealthy, and even then its process is difficult. And even if you're skilled, it's very difficult to come here. Ask Arctic, a pilot, a very talented pilot, when he's not drinking, how difficult it is to get to America on a work visa. It's not easy. So it's not an immigration program. It's for people who are in dire persecution, whose lives are in jeopardy. If you're young and got skills, it doesn't matter whether you're old and got no skills. You're in just as great a jeopardy because of your status and your location. So that doesn't matter. But if what Dirk is saying is that you have options around the world, that may be true. Yeah, a lot of countries won't take immigrants after the age of 50. They just won't take them unless they're retirement destinations like Spain or, Costa Rica. We're happy to take people who are older, have lots of money, so they die and the money stays in their country. Yep. I live in France. I'm next to what? I have no idea what you're saying, Ron. You live in France. It's getting real. Yeah, France is a mess, but you can't come here as a refugee. You're already in a safe haven. I think I have asked this before. If my husband has been arrested for a small petty crime, would this cost him? He's honest about it. Do you think it would look past it? Again, Helen, it all has to do with when that occurred, the nature of the crime. I mean, if he was 18 years old and he got caught stealing, a sheep, and it's never happened again, maybe. It's up to the adjudicator. The adjudicator looks at your case, makes a decision. Normally, we're talking about serious felonies, murder, rape, pedos, crimes against humanity, war crimes. So I can't answer the question. I'm not the one adjudicating the case. And I couldn't answer it anyway unless I sat down with you and looked at the facts, did an investigation, and did a whole person evaluation. Okay? Well, Starcott, your answer to Nicolette Steenkamp is not correct. Well, then, online application, it's not an application, it's a statement of interest, and RSC will call. No, RSC might call you, the Amerikaners might call you. and you can't reply. I've seen emails sent to me. There's no reply. It's a do not reply email. So I'm not sure. Maybe you have to have a case number. Then you got it. No, Daniel, you didn't hear correctly. I didn't say you could take dollars out of South Africa. I said you could bring dollars into South Africa. You can bring $25,000 of rand into South Africa. You can bring the equivalent of $10,000, if I remember correctly, something like that, into South Africa. I didn't say you could take dollars out. I'm sure you can take dollars out, but it must be equivalent to 25,000. Is it possible for Amerikaners to assist Kenya to get people? No, it's not. They're under separate contracts. And how? I don't understand. See, you guys are coming with all kinds of crap. Makes no sense. Janine, why would the Amerikaners assist RSC? They're doing the same damn things. But RSC is doing more than the Amerikaners. So how are the Amerikaners going to help RSC? They've got no people. They got a handful of people doing this. It's amazing what they're getting done. Senate confirmed 48 Trump's nomination Friday, but it's unclear if Brent Bozell's included. Oh, thank you, Colonel Cookie. I didn't see that. I was flying Friday. I have to check. Yeah, $10,000 without reporting it, Dan. D, you can report it after. You can take more than that, but you have to report it. Yeah, exactly, Starcott. Put it in your PayPal. Joan Devanaga, lots of people have asked that question about whether older people can build up a pension. Well, I mean, it depends what you mean by build up a pension. I've been building a pension since I was 18. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. I'm not rich, but I don't have to do any of this. I can just buy myself an RV, hop in it, drive around the country, stop at campsites, and enjoy life. That's what I could do. I could do that. I could sell my house and buy 2 RVs. And keep one in storage and transfer around the country and then swap them out so they don't get worn out. Miane says, hi, Chris. If I ask the others had pre-screening Friday, some got moved sooner, but mine wasn't. Anyone else from Friday still on the same date? I don't know what you're talking about. You can ask. You're welcome. Thank you, Miane, for the 35 Rand. Appreciate the clouds forming there. This happens all the time. People's dates get moved because they overbook and they overplan. So hang in there. I've done a statement in June, Amerikaner survey. Okay, $10,000 allowed U.S. This might be a stupid question. If I buy a car in USA and pay with my South African account, would it be seen as the million? No, it's not a transfer, but smart move. You're making a purchase abroad. That's not a transfer of money. Yeah, Theo's saying don't change in the bank. That's at an airport. That's what I'm saying. Chunk of change if people have it. Yep. After 6 months, you start paying back your flight. You have 42 months. Ricardo Bezuidenhout, you're talking about what the norm is. That hasn't been the case so far for South Africa, to my knowledge, so, from South Africans. So, Gideon is going to bed. Take care. I have a friend who committed a crime in another country over 20 years ago. Think this will affect him? Well, Don, if I were an investigator, I would just want the truth. So I'm not going to offer you any advice on that. If you commit a crime, thank you, JP, for membership. I would just be honest. That's what I would say. Be honest about things. Let people know the truth. Yeah, thankfully, I've never committed a crime. So I've never been convicted of one either. So because I've never committed one. Many people leaving with their parents. Okay, if 25,000 converts to 10,000 US dollars. Yes, Freetha, but there's a weird thing about you can bring in 25,000 Rand up to 25,000, and you can bring as much as 10,000 into South Africa, which is weird. I think they want dollars there. Yes, main bank branches do convert rands to dollars at a fee. You need to take your passport. Yes, I'm aware of that. And the other way around, too. Ruan says at least with a happy ending. With prostitution, you get a happy ending, but you don't get that when you convert to airport. True. Nikki Lee Lindemann. Wow. What is the least amount of money you can go to the USA with? $0.00. But you're going to be pretty hungry at airports. You're going to be pretty thirsty. And you're not going to be able to do anything. So, Nicola, if you have no money, you don't have to have money to come to America. You're going to get refugee cash assistance if you're a refugee. It'll be delivered within a few days after you arrive. It should be a few $100s the first time. And it's based on family size. You get money. So, Barlow's. Yeah, Barlow. Is that the one I'm thinking of? It's not Barlow. What's the... let me see. That's not who I'm thinking of. Not Barlow World. It's not them. What's the name of them? Come on, give me a name here. Well, it's not showing me it here. car dealerships. Let me see if I find that. Man, I can't think of their name right now. I hate this. This has happened to me a lot lately. It must be getting senile. Let me try this. I know they're in Haberoni. Barlow World is one of those car dealers, but that's not who I'm thinking of. Oh, this is driving me nuts now. Come on, what is their name? Not showing up. Not showing up. Anyway, it's not important. It is important, but I can't think of it. Singvan has mentioned before, anybody with a criminal record for minor offense perhaps only had to get a past fine, just needs to be upfront about it. Yeah, be honest. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Also choose 0 to 3 days while waiting for a call. Almost 3 weeks now. I don't know. Choose 0 to 3 days. Choose where? You don't get to choose about calls. What are you talking about? I already answered the question, Calvin Clark, about Homeland Security. You can apply for work in Homeland Security, but you can't work a job that requires a clearance. Ricardo says, UCI said 4,000 head of household per month from 1st of October. What are you talking about, 4,000? HOA. Dude, stop using letters that no one knows what you're talking about. Capitec right now, transaction fees are free. And when swiping your card, only pay a small amount to send money international. Well, that's maybe Capitec's right answer then. Don't think of that to change our money airport. No, you don't want to change the airport. You want to change it before you go there. That's best wishes from Happy Seattle. Hey, Dogzilla's back. Go watch the football. Well, last time I checked, the Colts were winning. Let me see. See if they've held on. It was 17-3. I don't really watch the NFL anymore. It's a racist organization. Let's see. They're letting them back in the game. It's 27, third quarter now, 27-13. So, yep. Jonathan Taylor is getting no rushing here. Alex Pierce, I love Alex Pierce, great player. He's a wide receiver. Alex Pierce has got 4 for 67 yards. Michael Pittman's got 4 now, and Warren, the new tight end's got 2. Jones has got 14 of 20 for 193 yards. He's turned out to be pretty well so far early in the season. From what I saw with the Americana website, there's lots of information on the site. Most of the questions will be answered. You'll see the current lot of frustration. No, they don't need to do that. They're welcome to do it, but they don't need to do it. They're welcome to come here. That's why I have this program on Sundays. Would you like mail from us if our bags are packed and tickets booked forever? Yes, I would, D. I'd love to know that you're leaving. So every time someone has got a ticket confirmed when they're leaving, I don't disclose that. I've never outed or doxed anybody who's leaving. So your information will be protected, but it's helpful for me because I can talk about people who are leaving. And then when you arrive, let me know. And if you're willing to do an interview, all right, it'd be very helpful. Who are the Blue Bulls anyway? You didn't say Bulls. And see, Arnold loves a jersey. People should go to Capitec and ask them for info and transaction. Yeah, Capitec seems like a good answer. Please keep my friend Athena in your thoughts. She was kidnapped off her farm yesterday. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I've not heard anything about that case. Donnie Thompson, if you could send me an email, give me more information on that so I can get people's attention on it. Yeah, no, Francois. Bulls and Stormers fans don't mix very well. Oh, Charles didn't say he applied. Gotcha. You can invest money in dollars if you go to an investment institution like Standard Bank or invest up to R1,000,000 per person. I'm not sure how that works. With all the departing friends, the U.S. only happened from Joburg. Also go from Cape Town. Well, there aren't any flights going from Joburg. They're all coming from Cape Town. The U.S. airlines are flying from Cape Town, so they'll probably, if you live in Petersburg, they'll probably book you on an Artembo flight that flies from there to Cape Town, or the flight that comes from Cape Town to Joburg and takes you up. So yeah, I don't know how to answer your question because it's wherever the commercial airlines fly, you're going to go. And if that's a problem, then you don't want to be a refugee. You'll find a way to get there. What's the nearest hotel or B&B to overnight stay overnight? Well, Mariki Bezuidenhout, that's an impossible question to answer. What airport are you talking about? Or Tamble? There's hotels right there. Emperor's Palace. I mean, there's thousands of rooms. There's everything close. But I wouldn't worry about that. Refugee status adds an additional layer of psychological stress. I've been there, and I'm not bragging. I'm giving a heads up for those who don't do the legwork. Anyhow, power to them. Thank you, Benj, for sharing that. Well, that's self-inflicted. You're not a refugee sitting in a camp in Kenya. If you get stress from the refugee program, you've put it on yourself. You've put it on yourself. What soccer jersey? It's not a soccer jersey, Jozar. I think you're being cheeky. It's a Northern Transvaal rugby jersey, historical. Can we find out what percentage of people in chat have been contacted? Daniel, I do those things all the time, and it's not really helpful. D says 100%. I'll let you know. Cool. Scary how many think the refugee program is immigration. I know, Juan. That's the problem. And that's why some people are just so holier than thou and arrogant. Well, I've been contacted. You haven't paid for jack shit. What do you mean you haven't been contacted? Sorry. It's a gift. So some people are really just difficult. It's not immigration. It's not immigration. Anyway. Fitnut says, I always thought Dogzilla was female. No, it's just arrogant, that's all. Thank you, Talitha. Angelique's terrible. Shame, hope your friend is found safe. Yeah, same here. I hope so too. Athena, that's crazy. Thank you, Sandy. Discovery Bank offers U.S. Forex accounts that can be opened instantly through its bank. I didn't know that. I can't open a South African bank account, which is kind of annoying because you have to have a work permit. That's the dumbest thing ever. I tried to get a bank account in South Africa. I can't get one because you have to have a work permit. How would I have a work permit if I live in South Africa and I'm retired? That's just dumb as a box of rocks. Anyway, I didn't go to Capitec. I should have gone to Capitec. RC called us as well, asking how soon we can leave. We told them yesterday. But the options are days, weeks, and when. I think that is the comment. But okay. Well, no, someone said 0 to 3 days. I mean, that's crazy. I have a criminal record from 30 years ago and I'm clean since then. If I apply and get rejected, will I be unable to visit my child if he's accepted refugee? Well, your child's not going to go anywhere as refugee if you're not going anywhere. B, L, or whatever that is, B. How's your child going to go over unless the rest of your family goes? Well, unable to visit. Why would you be unable to visit? I mean, there's no bar on you getting a visa to come to America. You can get a visa to come to America. You just can't settle here if you're rejected. But I seriously doubt, unless it's a serious crime. That's a really unusual question. I'm sorry I can't answer better, but you haven't given me any details, so I really can't answer it any better than that. All right, Tambo, I think there's a city lodge on the premises. There's everything's there. Or, I mean, guys, this is not hard to do. Maps. Okay, gosh bless it. There's a Protea there, if I'm not mistaken, right at the airport. Let me just go out to South Africa and zoom in. So I'm going to Google Maps, and I'm zooming into Joburg, and I'm going to Kempton Park, where the airport's at. And there's the airport. Okay, there's the airport. Or Tambo International Airport. Okay, there's a Piermont Metro, Piermont Doriel, the Grand Hotel, Emperor's Palace, all those I told you about. Then there's a City Lodge right at the airport. Yep. And there's a Protea at the airport. There's a Premier across the street. There's the Itonza guest house there. There's the Roos guest house behind it. Airport Tower Lodge behind the airport. I mean, there's tons of lodging there. Ecotel. There's everything there's a million. Birchwood Hotel. Yeah, there's tons of airports around the airport and close. So most of them have shuttles so you can get back and forth. Okay, Nikki, nothing will be direct because none of you are going to live in Atlanta or D.C. Okay, so there's no direct flight. You fly from Joburg or Cape Town to Atlanta or to New York or New Jersey, wherever you're landing, and then you get connected to the flight taking you to where you're going. Michael says all flights are departing from Joburg. Well, that's not where they're originating from. They're originating from Cape Town in many cases, especially if they're United. Many hotels and guest houses. Okay. Then if they're from Joburg to Atlanta, then they're exclusively on Delta. No one else flies that route. Holden says, tell the truth, I couldn't imagine being a refugee. Oh, I can. I've seen refugees all over the world. I can imagine the circumstances that lead people being a refugee. Did you see the new bill on 100,000 visas? Yeah. Yes, I did, D, and there's a reason for that, because these scumbag tech companies and financial institutions are fucking over Americans. They're screwing Americans. They're screwing us. You know how they're screwing us? By firing their American workers who are paid six figures to do the job at Microsoft and Google and Oracle and JP Morgan, all these places, and then these turd balls hire third country nationals to come in here with H-1B visas and work for $50,000, $60,000, pushing Americans out of work and flooding our country with people who are not illegal. They're legal aliens, but they come here and they birth kids and then they get to stay here. No. Get the out. Those Americans can do the job just fine. Trump is on top of things. That's right, Hannes Holzhausen. It's not usury. It's exploitive is what it is. And it's wrong. Let them go back to India and be IT people there. Let them go back to France and be IT people there. Let them go back to the UK and be bankers there. Yeah. There's a B&B within walking distance U.S. consulate. U.S. consulate is in Joburg, Cape Town, Durban. There is no U.S. consulate in Pretoria, unless you're talking about the small one that's inside the embassy. There is a bed and breakfast across the street from there. I've stayed there. Esmarie says, I really can't understand with all the videos you've done and all the info on the Americaners website why people are still asking these questions. Because people aren't watching my channel because it's hidden from people and they're discovering it late. And also, South Africans are just paranoid people. You really are. You really are, guys. As a people, maybe not individually. That's because they were never armed or disarmed voluntarily. Leaving is on your own steam and not returning. Self-imposed exile. Make a plan, find a job. Nikita, welcome to you. I agree, it's brilliant. The new H-1B visa fees invest in local folks and increase. Look, if we didn't have Americans who are qualified to work at Google or YouTube or X, and we needed to import skills, fine. If we didn't have Americans who are qualified nurses and we needed them, fine. But we have those people. And those people are being pushed into unemployment and forced to take jobs in other fields because these scumbags are hiring foreign nationals at half the salary because they're cheap bastards. So we don't need these skills. We don't need them. We have them. Pay people living wage. Taking our slaves away. Freetha Pug, yeah, I'm well aware of many of you never plug. Look, this is a fascinating thing I found about Afrikaners. And this is not, I know there are coloreds and Indians here too, and other whites, not just Afrikaners, but there's a lot of Afrikaners in the chat. This is not a dig against Afrikaners. But Afrikaners, stereotypically, not everyone, tend to think that they're worldly and they know all about the world and they know everything. They're always right. They're not. They don't. I mean, I got Afrikaners here that, I mean, first off, you let your kids run around with no shoes in their teenage years. I mean, what's that? Their feet get deformed, and then their feet won't fit in proper shoes. What is that? Why do you let your kids run around barefoot? What's that all about? No, seriously. No, we've got Afrikaners who've never been on a plane before. I've had Afrikaners who've never seen an escalator before. Some people are like, oh, you're making this stuff up, Chris. I'm not making it up. Not making it up. I've talked to refugees. The first time I saw an escalator, when they went to Pretoria. Yep. Daniel says, love or hate him, Trump has his people's well-being first and foremost. Yep. So that's not so easy. I work in IT and it's tough, says Mark. What's not so easy, Mark? We left years ago. What is years ago? We made a plan 6 weeks. We left, says Jan. Well, Jan, you must have resources a lot of people don't have. D says, your videos are so informative. Thank you for all your time and attention. You're very welcome. They want the China manufacturing since they aren't investing there. Huh? Google doesn't need employees. That corporation is cutting edge of artificial intelligence. Okay, sure. They don't need employees. Okay. As of June 2025, Google employs 182,000 people, the cutting edge of AI. 182,000 people. That's Google. Alphabet has 187,000. I presume that includes the Google employees. Yeah, the tip of AI, 182,000 people. Yeah, okay. But good day. Sorry, sir. I just want to know, what would you advise a good plan be if we didn't get a chance to go to America? Consider Botswana. Consider it hard. It's close to South Africa. Life is the same. You're just living in the desert, just like a lot of South Africa. You can speak Afrikaans and English there. Wouldn't hurt to know some Setswana, though. Yeah, and you've got all the brands. You got you don't have Panarottis, but you've got gosh bless it. You got Roman's Pizza. You've got all the South African brands. Your game is there, so yeah, that will go down over time. You just get angry at people spending money on that crap while they have 12-month aggregate account and can't put up security fence to 1,000. Don't know what you're talking about, enemy. What are they spending money on? Only ever flown anywhere before. Only been to Durban road trip. See, there you go, Geo. That's what I'm talking about. People haven't. Colleen says, true, Colonel. We are paranoid and brainwashed. Only but a few of us found you, and the rest are stuck in mainstream media. There's a lot of truth to that. Thank you, Colleen. Nikki Funsell, 2 questions. To personally, which state is the best state in? And second, which states do you know about where refugees are being placed? Okay, number 2, there's 2 things to that, Nikki. I've covered that thousands of times, but there is no best state to stay in. It depends on what you want. I want to live in Wyoming, but it doesn't have many of the services and businesses, and things are much more expensive than they are here. You know, I mean, I can't tell you, I don't know anything about you. I love the cold, so I could live anywhere, but I can't live in Florida. I can't live in Louisiana. It's fucking hot. I don't like Texas. Nope, not for me. So that's not. I can't answer the question without knowing you. What's the best place to live? So the second question is, where are refugees placed? Everywhere. Refugees go all 48 of the lower 48 states, and sometimes even to Alaska. The only place they don't go is Hawaii because it's too expensive. We don't put refugees in Hawaii. But if you look at the annual refugee report, we've put people in 49 of the 50 states. My parents were invited for a first interview last week. Upon arrival, the people asked my parents where we were. We never received a call. Okay, all right. Rian Fundaskiff. Did your parents include you on their application? Or now you got me saying application. On their statement of interest. Did they include you on their statement of interest? If they didn't include you in the statement of interest, then the question is out of order. If you were included in the statement of interest, then the question is appropriate. If your name was included on their statement of interest and they went there, so I don't know. Again, this is an ad hoc process, and I wouldn't have done it this way. Zedma Volmerans, welcome back to you. And thank you for the gift there. And there's €2 from Mark Trudgeon. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. I had $450 and a ticket to Cairo, then Air Sinai, you know, Coral Beach. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about when you left, Jan. Thank you. Well, you went to Egypt. Well, I'm glad they took you in. You wouldn't have worked in America. You would have been kicked out. Well, not now. Or not before, but now you will be. Because Trump's in charge now. Mariki Bezuidenhout says, thank you. Very welcome. My pleasure. How are we doing on time here? An hour and a half almost here. Menace Never Travel. Got that already. Okay. JJ Erasmus says, thank you. And good night to you. Your video is so informative. Thank you. You're very welcome. Oh, okay. I was already there. People complaining about where you fly. Honestly, I mean, I don't get this. Look, I'm being very calm here, but why are people worried about where you fly out of? Why are you worried about how much money you can take out? I mean, these are practical things that are important, but they sure as heck, this is, anyway. So I understand the questions, but I also understand Lynette's point. You go from where you go from, and you get to where you got to get to. You know? Bennett, you're very welcome. Good night, Joe Stainer. You're welcome. You guys must be old, all going to bed at 9:30. What's up with that? Unless you got to get up for guard duty because people are invading your property. Okay, so that was my parents are invited. Okay. And then here. All right. The first thing my cousin wanted to do when they came and visit us in the city is ride lifts and escalators. See orangutan juice? I mean, it's not uncommon. Afrikaners have long lived a very cloistered and isolated life. Many Afrikaners have long lived a very cloistered and isolated life. It's true, going back to the formation of the ethnic group. Living in remote locations and relying on things around you. It's true. Nikitas, thank you for the gift membership. And I think it was Zedma Volmerans. Cool. If you listen to CEOs, they'll say the same thing. Oh, okay. And South African is correct. You don't get to decide. Why did they ask if you get to decide? Oops. These South Africans, Americans are super similar. Yes, we are, except that we don't hide in our houses at night because we're going to be raped and murdered for the most part. Janine gave 59 Rand, super chat. Thank you for that. Mark Trudgeon gave €2. I think it was a super sticker from Janine. So for me, Washington State reminds me of Ireland. No. Washington State is not like Ireland at all, not even remotely. Unless, well, yeah, Ireland has been given away to invaders. So yeah, it does remind you of that. Washington State is two completely different ecological zones. You have the rainforest, the temperate rainforest on the western side, and then you have the mountains. On the other side of Cascades, you've got eastern Washington, which is desert, high desert chaparral. Yeah, so I mean, if you want that, that's fine. But the whole left coast is politically left, and it's not an easy place to live in many respects. I like Washington, but I couldn't live there. But the places I'm going to go visit this week: Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, and even Montana, western Montana. Yep. But you got to like the cold. Can one of the IT guys maybe tell me, see how when a statement of interest is submitted? I don't know how you would possibly know that because they don't have access to the database. Yeah, AI doesn't need maternity leave or require a pension. No, but it requires electricity. Care about not being placed in Hawaii. Well, nobody's going to Hawaii. Yeah, Dogzilla, the Evergreen State, only 1/3 of it. The rest is a desert. Nikita, sorry, I meant because many corporations were dependent on China for manufacturing, so they're saving profits. So oh, no, I got you. Thank you, Nikita. I didn't understand what the context was. Thank you. People need to research the states and think, well, people need to research where they're going to go when they tell you you're going to go. There's no point in researching unless you just want to learn about America, 50 states. Every place is different. There are many similarities in places, but places are different. Francois Collins, you do amazing things, and for some ungrateful people, I know Francois. It's fine. I'm just trying to help people. I was referring to how I used to get upset, but now all the more saddens me to keep hearing how information doesn't get to people. Yeah, no, I got you, Anne Marie. Yeah, no, it is sad. It's unfortunate. But when content is hidden from people, this is what happens. That's why it's funny when a certain other content creator called me the king of the refugees. It's comical because if I was king of the refugees, I'd have 100,000 people watching my program. Obviously, I'm not. Lavre says, I'm in my 50s, grew up in a small town, Orange Free State, and even we knew what escalators were like. There's lots of exceptions, my friend. Trust me. Will Smurf, how are you? Have you seen about 32 million private land? Yes, and I'll do a video on it maybe tonight after I eat my crabs, if I'm still in the mood. Let me check in on my football score. Even though I don't watch the NFL, I'm still interested in the Colts. So they were still winning 27-13 last time I looked. And what's the current status? 34-13, so they scored another touchdown. Okay, fantastic. Let me take a look at the stats and see how Dan Jones is doing, the former Giants quarterback. He's 17-24 for just one touchdown. Jonathan Taylor now has 90 yards. He must have had a big run. Yeah, he's going to get 100 yards. Jonathan Taylor's back in form. You know, the average career for a top-flight NFL running back is about 4 years. And Jonathan Taylor had a couple injuries, lost a year or two, and he's in like his 6th or 7th year, and he's still got the same mojo he had back in the day. Afrikaners live in a bubble. I have seen it with all the refugee groups. Then people carry on like they know everything. Exactly. Remember those scumbags who attacked me coming in here? You guys remember that over the whole Operation Pet Lift? They come in. They just jumped in my chat and said, "Oh, it only costs $200 to send a pet to America." And I said, "That's not true. I don't know where you get your information from. That's not true. I spent $5,800 to send 2 freaking cats to Botswana because I had to go through South Africa, and I'd spend $4,200 to send them back. It cost me $10,000 to send my cats $2, not rand, to send my cats to and from." And then other people jumped in. Yeah, you're right, Colonel. I checked. It's $60,000 for my cat and this much for that, for my dog. And then they lied about me. The little hate wankers went into their groups. Oh, that Colonel's a liar, man. That guy, he's a fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's lying, misleading people. Don't trust him. You believe I actually said this crap? Disgusting, vile, repulsive human beings. They don't know who I am, and they don't know what they're talking about. And of course, they were wrong. And so when I interviewed Morgan, I said, "Morgan, can you tell me about this? I mean, people said that Pet Lift said it only costs $200. That's not true. We never said that." So she said, I said, "Well, what's the $200? The $200 is a price they negotiated for the titer test for dogs because it costs more than that normally. So they got a group discount of $200. So that was just one aspect of shipping a pet to the States. And these little shitheads ran around and ran their mouth about me. Of course, they were wrong, but the damage they did to my reputation, little fuck twats. Anyway, sorry for the language, but they pissed me off. Little piss ants. Anyway. Leaving with a backpack and whatever cash I can get. There you go. Corporations afford lawyers and lobbyists to address energy bills. How will the average American keep up? Lots of ways. Reduce your energy consumption. Install alternative energy to create your own energy. Vote out the scumbags that are creating costs, to driving our cost up with their fake green energy bullshit like we have here in Pennsylvania. We are paying taxes so that people in Boston can have electricity. We generate electricity here and we pay a carbon tax in this state for electricity that's exported to New York and to Massachusetts and to Rhode. That's bullshit. Fire all these turd bags in Harrisburg. Get rid of the tax. If they want freaking carbon tax, make them pay for it. We're generating the power for them. Why are we paying the carbon? Two families live together in one house. We're related by being cousins, have been living together since. You can ask, Carmen. You can ask. You can ask. But both families have to apply separately. Not apply. You guys got me saying apply now. You got to put a statement of interest separately. But ask them. So not to be brutal, I was given a green card and turned it down. I love Americans, but I love living in Europe. Well, Mark, that's not brutal. If you like living in Europe, that's fantastic. I'm happy for you. You see any white folks around? Where do you live? See any Christians around? I can't live in Germany anymore. It's been surrendered to the aliens. It's not German. It's people demanding, beating people on buses, harassing Germans on the street, telling them they're not dressed appropriately, they're not chaste enough. Get out of the country. Lena doesn't care where they place us. I have a family on application. Appalachian Mountains. Family are paying. Okay, what time is it? It's 3:30. Okay. Just like to say that the Kenyan lady that's been helping us is doing an exceptional job. Thank you, Ian Odendahl. I don't recall hearing a chat from you before. She's gone above and beyond. That's the norm. But people keep spreading rumors about the Kenyans not doing their job. I'm not aware of them not doing their job. It's funny how... Well, I'm not going to go there. I'll just leave it for that. Okay. There's a shed load of real estate and other travel programs on YouTube. Okay. How will the refugee program be affected when the new budget comes into effect? Well, the new budget won't come into effect on October 1st. It hasn't been approved. Right now, they need a continuing resolution to continue the government. That hasn't happened yet. So, no, it won't be affected. The program will continue as it is for the short term. But if there's no money, if the government doesn't get a continuing resolution, there'll be no refugees, particularly if we're paying for all this travel. But there'll be no government, period. I'll get no retirement check. That's why I've been saving a little bit extra money, because I'm worried about that. Hey, Arctic, what's going on? There you are. Another YouTuber provides info other than the Prof G with regard to the refugee program, and the Chris trusts his info. Well, thank you, Gio. Well, there's no one's been doing it as long or as accurately as I have either. Nikita says that's madness. I crossed the mountains last weekend for a few days, drove across the high desert, and drove through the vast areas of irrigated farmland for hours and hours. Yes, and that's what it is, Dogzilla. Hours and hours and hours. I like Eastern Washington. I like Spokane. I love Spokane. It's a lovely place. But it's in the middle of a freaking high desert chaparral. And I like Olympia, Washington. I don't like Seattle. I don't like Bellingham. It's just, but I do like. I don't like Tacoma. I hate Tacoma, but I do like Olympia. Watching the Charlie Kirk Memorial and hearing everyone talking leaves me in amazement at the fact that there's still good in this world. I haven't seen Anne-Marie. Welcome to you. Gus, what's going on? YouTube is pushing content. We're going to a recession. Well, we're not going to a recession unless something changes. The fact that the Fed finally lowered, it should have been half a point, not 25 basis points. It should have been 50 basis points. But anyway, it's a start. I'm 40 and relatively intelligent with an HR degree. I definitely do not know anything about America. Some people are just cockpotters. Yes, they are, Esmery. Village in Ireland. Oh, okay. Well, I know that. Okay. Well, how do you like the fact they've surrendered Ireland to all the foreigners who are attacking Irish and pillaging and raping? It's insane. And the Nigerians who get naturalized and then they go on TikTok. Look at this. I got an Irish passport. I got an Irish passport. I got an Irish passport. They don't give a shit about being Irish. They just have a passport so they can travel unmolested. Yeah, taking advantage of it. Yeah, Ireland is gone. The UK is gone. They're gone. They've surrendered it to aliens. And English culture will die. Welsh culture might survive. Scots culture might survive. Irish culture is going to be destroyed. It'll survive in Northern Ireland, maybe, but Republic of Ireland, it's gone. A ship from Cape Town disembarked. Okay, I don't know what that's about, says Karen. There's a sense of everything in the USA. The country is just enormous. Oh, the sum of everything. Yeah, it is enormous, Dogzilla. President Trump will have to loosen the restrictions on uranium mining and coal if the U.S. wants to keep up its energy requirements. No. We just have to make data centers much more energy efficient and then take the heat exhaust from that and use that as an energy source. Use the heat exhaust coming from the microprocessors in the data centers and turn that, instead of wasted energy, into useful energy by generating more energy. But see, the imagination is not there. The creativity is not there. It should be. It should be. It's like creating a perpetual motion machine. You'll always lose some of the heat energy, but converting that heat energy into something useful. That's what should be done. But they aren't thinking like that. We need to be much more efficient. That's the only reason why our grid hasn't collapsed, because we've become more efficient over the years. We become much more efficient. Geo is given 70 Rand. Which video editing program are you using? I'm using Wondershare from Filmora, version 12. It's a perpetual version. They want to keep upgrading it, but I'm not going to upgrade unless they give me a discount and they give me another perpetual license. Because I've already upgraded twice. They lied to me. They said this is a permanent license, but it's not. It's a permanent license for that version. Yeah. But I agree. He should ease the restrictions on uranium and coal mining. But he didn't put them in place, so I'm sure he'll remove them. Electrical grid would need to be upgraded. Well, the electrical grid does need to be upgraded because we're flooding our country with migrants, and they need to get out of here. Many of those also did a lot of damage to OPL, Morgan, and her team. Yes, you're right, Pretender. They did. They did a lot of damage to our team. Yeah. Is home invasion a valid reason for past persecution? Only if your home invasion is based on your race. We have people's homes broken into all over America. A home invasion is not a justification for being unemployed. Is not a justification for refugee status. Being robbed, being shot is not a justification. If, however, these things occurred because of your race, and it's clear, and you can make that point and articulate that, then it's justification. Does that make sense? I'm not using JBL mic. I'm using a HyperX. This is really good stuff. You can change the colors. Put it on silent. I put a pop filter in the front of it so I don't get it messy. These are fantastic microphones. Yanni Fundevald is the first one who told me about this microphone a few years ago. They were $180 at the time, $179. I won't pay $179 for a microphone. So it went on sale for like $125 or something like that. And I bought it. I've now bought 3 of them. One of them I broke. It doesn't work properly anymore because I knocked it over too many times with my animated rugby calling, I think it was. But so this one, they've gotten better over time. This one's fantastic. I love this microphone. It's fantastic. Yep, HyperX. Yep. In fact, they're even smaller now. This size here has been reduced by about 30 or 40%, and the new ones are incredible. I almost bought one in the UK. I put one in my box. I'll probably buy a new one soon because I just love these microphones, and I can take that one with me. Yeah, it is pretty good sound. Yep. Some tent space available in your lawn? No, I don't. I don't have any tent space. Ben Carson speaking. Wow, yeah, Ben Carson's amazing. First applying for FGE was expelled from school for misbehavior. Well, that's not a crime. Being expelled from school is not a crime. It's not something to worry about. You guys, if you've been charged with a crime and convicted of a crime, those are 2 separate things. Lots of people are charged with crimes are not guilty. Being charged with a crime doesn't prevent you from anything. Okay? All right, guys. It's time to wrap up here. 390 people still here. 2,300 have tuned in. Average view has been 19 minutes. That's pretty good. Chat rate's been pretty steady at 8. It's not that high, but it's not that bad. Yes, you'll need to be up at 5 a.m. I'll be doing night owls tonight. Absolutely. I'll be doing it. So, all right. So I got another broadcast today, but now I've got to take a break, visit my friend who's almost 90 years old, and then get my steam crabs, come back, and tonight make a video about the expropriation without compensation case and probably one about some idiots in the ANC. Alan says, offshore you have what we call... Okay, waste heat recovery unit. This is where we take the heat from gas turbines to heat water. There you go. See, there you go. A lot of ways to do this. Also, we use a lot of geothermal energy, which we're not using. But yeah, I agree. We do need to relieve the restrictions on coal. Yep, and on nuclear. Please see my post. Andres, okay, see my post. I see no post from you. I see no post from you. I see no post. I've gone back several minutes, and there's no post from you. Nope. 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 Hey, Chris Wyatt Africa, I didn't see you there. Fabian, thank you for the 40 Rand M. Missed that. I'm now back to 325. That's 15 minutes ago. And Andres, I see nothing. Will Smurf this year. How are you? Have you seen about it? Yes, I have seen about it, Will. I've talked about it, and I talked about my news program, and I'll make a video about it. I see nothing from you, Andres. Nothing. I've gone back to 316 now. Nothing. Widgets here. Yeah, India's been abusing the H-1B program for years. Exactly. Nothing. 314. I see nothing from you, Andres. At the beginning. Well, there is no beginning. The beginning is gone. Guys, the chat disappears. 309. I went live at 2 o'clock. That's an hour and 9 minutes after I went live. Andres, instead of telling me to go back and watch it, tell me what you want, please. Okay? Why do you expect me to scroll through thousands of messages? Dude, when you got a question, type it in a text file, and then if it doesn't get answered, you can paste it again later on. Family visiting from Israel. That's interesting. Andres, please ask your question. I've got to go. I've already stayed 11 minutes longer than I intended to. Sumer is excited about the night owls. Okay. Sandy, what's going on? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, I'm waiting. Andres, what's your question? No, the crabs aren't till 4:30. I got an hour before. Well, not an hour now. Now I've got 40 minutes before I pick them up. So you're cutting into my time visiting my 90-year-old friend. So I'm going to be able to spend 10 minutes with him now. Oh, there it is. I've been in the USA 3 times last time. I've been in the USA prospecting. My employer asked for 6 months. You overstayed your visa? Were you kicked out of the country? You're not coming back then. Visa overstays, you're not coming back. I don't understand. Are you telling me you overstayed your visa? You had an employment visa and you overstayed it? Trump administration and Homeland Security are not very favorable looking at people who overstay their visas. Were you deported or did you leave your own volition? If you left your own volition, then you'll probably be okay. But if you were deported, you ain't coming back here, even as a refugee. Well, I don't understand how you overstayed then. You 6 months and you left in 7. If you left in 7, then you overstayed by a month. I don't understand. Yeah, send me an email. It doesn't make any sense. If you came for 6-month visa and you stayed for 7 months, then you overstayed your visa. Send me an email. All right. allaboutafrica2021@gmail.com. Thank you. All right. All right, Andres. Okay, guys, that's it. Be sure to hit the like button. People are leaving left and right. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Thanks, everybody. Okay, closing credits. Here we go. Well, you did overstay. They don't look favorably upon that, so I don't know what to tell you. So are you trying to get a visa and they won't give you one? Then they won't give you one. Are you trying to apply for the refugee program? Then not apply, but put a statement of interest. Put a statement of interest in. Yeah, guys, you can't overstay your visa in America. This isn't South Africa. This isn't England. This isn't Germany. We don't look favorably on people who abuse our generosity. We did in the past, our government, but now they're waking up. So, Andres, yeah, send me an email. Okay, cheers, everybody.